What's up?
Hello, hello. How's everybody doing out here?
I don't think that's Chicago.
Forget about it.
That's not even the right state.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh, well, how are you doing, man? How are things?
Good. Market's pumping.
Well, today's a historical day, and I know you know why.
Trade deal?
No, bro. Think about your Catholic grandma, bro. We got
yeah.
an American cowboy in the Vatican.
First American, yeah. That is a big deal.
In the Vatican ever. First American Pope.
It's funny because I just watched I watched that movie Conclave.
Yep.
I don't know, like a month or so ago.
How was it? I actually want to check it out.
Huh?
How was it? I wanted to check it out. I don't think I saw it.
It sucked.
Dang.
It sucked.
Yeah.
Halfway through it, I just wanted to end it all. I did not like it whatsoever.
Well,
I won't go into the reasons why. In the ending, I did not like the ending. I thought the ending was some Hollywood. I won't get into it. But my point was that they made a reference to electing an American Pope. You know, and they were like, "No, we've never had an American Pope." You know, you know, because they're trying to. The conclave is pretty much what just went down right now. The Pope dies. You know, they go and they sequester themselves. They get locked in or whatever, and then nobody leaves until they, you know, come up with a new Pope. So it's all about that whole process being in conclave and stuff like that. It was very disappointing.
Yeah, people would hate me if I was in there because they'd be like, "So guys, who do we think it's going to be? I think we need to think really hard." I'll be like, "It's that guy. That's my pick. All right, get me out of here. That's my pick." Yo, I got my first 101 from the V Friends collection. Shout out to
I've
Gary.
Seen that.
Shout out to
Gangland, I believe. I seen it on in the Discord. That was cool.
I will say Gary V is a rock star. I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like sometimes I watch his content and I'm moved, and then I feel like sometimes I'm listening to his content and I'm like, is he really saying anything? But like, I think it's good. I like Gary V. I think he's very inspirational.
Yeah.
And I think that he does say a lot of times the things that people don't want to, I guess, like, not necessarily that they don't want to hear, but that they can't, like, the answers they can't come up with themselves. You know, like, a lot of people can't see them getting in their own way, right? Like, shout out to J. Coco for the news. Bosses equal effing love you. Absolutely.
What's up, J. Coco?
Absolutely. Thank you, J. Coco. But yeah, man, I like Gary V. Shout out to Gary V. I just think about, there's this, I actually think it's Gabriel Haynes does a really great Gary V impression. So, you know.
Oh, yeah? I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, I'll have to figure it out. I'll have to find it and then make sure I tag you in it. But everybody got a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, that trade deal was pretty big. That's the show right now, is the trade deal. And, you know, there's a lot of conversation that there'll be other trade deals down the pipeline.
He says there's a lot of discussions in the works, so we'll see. China's going to be the big one, though.
Yeah, when that happens. And I think that well, if is a good point, but also, like, they have no reason to, like, speed that up, right? I mean, like, besides,
they have every reason to speed that up.
Dude, the difference between us and China...
You're thinking about it wrong. I know we went over this.
Yeah.
Our tariffs are costing them business.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's hurting us. It's hurting small businesses here, but it's mainly hurting the manufacturing plants there.
Yes, but I will say that if China's leadership wants
Mhm.
to slow roll this for a long period of time, they don't care. They'll do it
It'll
because
hurt them worse than it does us.
it'll hurt their people, but I don't think it'll.
Oh,
I mean,
right. Well,
they'll
yeah,
just, you know what
yeah.
I
It
mean?
won't hurt the government. No,
Yeah,
you got a point there. You're
I'm
right.
saying they don't like if they wanted to change their entire like economic structure.
Right.
They could probably do it in a week because your choice is you do it or you disappear.
Right.
So like
Right.
it's not like us where like
They would just have they would have to drop the facade of a democracy.
I don't even think that there's a facade of democracy. It's kind of
Well,
like one of
it's
those
like that. It's like the
you have freedom of choice to decide.
right, right. Well, it's the thing that everybody knows it's a lie, but they still perpetuate the lie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We know that we're lying, but we also know that that aren't going to say anything because you don't want to end up in a Uyghur camp.
Yeah. Why would they protest? Why would they protest the government when it protects us?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
There was no protest.
Yeah.
And then there's
Some
like
of the people might not be old enough that watch this to remember Tiananmen Square and stuff like that, where they just ran over the dude with the tank.
Yeah. Also, try to use DeepSeek to ask about it.
Oh yeah, that's not going to happen. No,
That was the
never
whole
happen.
thing. It would start to type out the answer and then it would delete it before you actually could read it.
Right. But there does become a point where, because China's economy is pretty much in shambles, you know, it's always been shaky. You know, they're always the Belt and Road Initiative, you know, and like they got like cities that nobody lives in just to keep their people working and stuff like that. They like build a city and nobody lives there and stuff like that. So it's still gonna hurt them worse because we're their biggest customer.
Yeah.
The United States is their biggest customer. So think of this. Think of that you own a store and you have 100 people that frequent your store every day. Every day. That's the bulk of your business. You know what I mean? But now, for whatever reason, those people quit coming to your store. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
You understand?
You're definitely going to notice.
Huh? Yeah, you're definitely going to notice. And you can't float your overhead on your savings. You know, only for so long can you do that. You know, when you're the government, you can just print it, but then you're just going to devalue your population's currency, you know, your currency. So,
do you know what I did like that? I mean, I know I tagged you in it. Let me see if I have it here in my bookmarks. But this cracked me up because I was talking about this. I've made a lot of comments about this in the last little bit, but it was about, you know, we have the best economy right now, right? The stock market's doing good. Everything's doing good. And then, so we were talking about rate cuts. And I was like, I don't know. Who knows what could happen? Because Trump says the economy's good and he thinks that it's time for a rate cut. We didn't get the rate cut. But then I saw this and I was just cackling. And I thought of you. Let's see if I can.
Is it the tweet about Trump saying that Jerome Powell doesn't know what he's doing? Yeah. He's not in love with me. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's get this up here.
Chairman of the Fed, Jerome, if he would lower interest rates like China did, like I think UK did, but like numerous other countries have done, it's like jet fuel. It'd be great. But he doesn't want to do it. I think he doesn't want to do it. Probably he's not in love with me. I think that's right. It's sort of a crazy reason, but that's the way life is. Anybody in his position would be like, it would be like jet fuel. But even without that, we're doing well.
Okay.
I love how Trump is like so good with like puns and stuff like, or like flipping. It's like, instead of saying, well, I don't think he likes me, it's, well, he's not in love with me. Right. Like, everybody knows what he means.
Everybody else is in love with me, but he's not in love with me. So he's not, conforming to my delusion, because obviously things are not rose-colored glasses right now.
Right.
Which, it's just funny. He just is a character. To me, it cracks me up, but I've been saying that this whole time. We might get the rate cuts because, the president wants the rate cuts. And then you were like, I think it was you and my dad too. I told my dad the same thing. You were both like, well, he doesn't decide, Jerome Powell. And I was like, but somebody's got to tell him that, right?
Right. Yeah, somebody's got to tell Trump.
Well, he's just surprised, that he isn't in control of everything all the time.
Right. He did. There was a post today, though, that said, buy stocks. You better start buying stocks right now because we're about to take off on a rocket ship. And when he said it's a good time to buy about a month ago, the market went soaring. So, maybe it's the inside information told to everybody.
Yeah. Or it's market manipulation and the fact that he controls some of the levers with the
Can
whole.
Can it be market manipulation if he's making a statement to the entire country or essentially the entire world?
No, I get what you're saying. But I mean, it's like if I have a meme coin that has a $10 market cap and I'm an influencer with 1 trillion followers and I say, hey, this might be a good meme coin, and that price goes up pretty exponentially.
Right.
It's kind of obvious. Right? It's obvious. Right. Everybody in the world knows who I am. What do you mean?
Right.
Anyways, but yeah, it's neither here nor there. But happy Thursday, everybody. Right? I assume it's Thursday. Yeah,
it is Thursday. One more day.
One more day. Yep. But let's go ahead and see what the market's doing. I mean, things are good. I mean, I heard earlier today that we were over 100K. I saw Alex Becker say we are never going under 100K again.
Well, then it's true, right? It'll never happen then.
Yeah. 100%. So,
all right, let's get into it. But before we get into it, everybody do us a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, tap that notification bell. If you're on X, tag some DGens, give us a repost. We go live Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. PST, bringing you the daily news nightly. Let's get that update. All right. Oh, well, I guess I should be looking at the right screen, right?
That would help.
It might help, right? Let's get the freshest data here. Boom, coming in at $3.36 trillion, up 5.4% on the day. 184 billion in volume. That's got to be the most volume we've had in probably a month and a half. And for a Thursday, that's a lot of volume. Well, Bitcoin dominance,
There was that. There was like, I think it was like 200 billion or something in maybe not 200 billion, but there was like a very large amount of shorts that were liquidated today.
Oh, I'm sure there were. Oh, we can bring up CoinGlass. I can bring up CoinGlass and look at it. Bitcoin dominance drops to 61.3. Ethereum pumps to 7.96. And we got action when we show more than one GUI for an ETH transaction. 2.38 GUI. I am so glad I moved the crypto I had to move at the beginning of the week. So not having to pay these freaking gas fees. Awesome. Let's come down. Bitcoin coming in at 102,951. I believe we hit 104,178 on the perpetuals market today. Up 5% on the 24-hour. Ethereum back over 2 Gs, coming in at 21.98, up 20%. Ethereum pumped 20%. Think about that, guys. The second biggest crypto by market cap A 265 billion market cap pumped 20%. That's crazy. I wonder if that has to do with that the Pectra upgrade or whatever.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, that or I don't know, maybe World Liberty Financial bought a bunch of ETH.
They already had a bunch of ETH, so
Right.
they probably told everybody else that they bought it, but they already had it. So now they're selling it.
Now they're selling OTC.
Yeah.
All right. XRP back up to 231, up 7.5. BNB at 624, up 3.7. I seen a tweet today. BNB will be reducing its gas fees by 10x.
Yes, and it was already pretty low.
Yeah, I was going to say it wasn't very high to begin with. I mean, I haven't done anything. I don't think I've used like Pancake Swap or anything like that since last cycle. But yeah, up 3.7. Huh?
I haven't used that in ages. I think the last time I used Pancake Swap, I was getting some kind of not on exchange coin for some reason, right?
Right. Because last cycle, if you guys remember, so everybody's about Solana, like right now, Solana meme coins and stuff like that. Last cycle, BCS chain was like the spot for those degenerate plays to get in, get out, and yeah, I haven't used it in quite a while. Solana coming in at 163, up 9.6. Doge at 1957, up 12%. Here we go. Cardano back to 76.93, up 12.7. Tron at 25.73 at 3.4. Wah, wah, wah. And we came up a spot. We jumped up to number 12 at $4, up 16.4%. Wow, it's got a ways to go to get this Lido to hit Lido. I don't even know why that's in there. Synthetic ETH. Why that's kind of stupid, but it's got some ways to go to make it back in the top 10. It needs about another $11 billion of market cap to make it back to the top 10. So it's possible.
Justin Sun will just throw his own capital in.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what UBTC is, but apparently it just came out swinging, probably just popped into the top 10, up 112%. I don't even know what that is. Let's take a look at that. It's got to be a synthetic, right? Is a liquid staking derivative, LSD, representing staked Bitcoin assets designed to provide liquidity while enabling users to earn yield on their Bitcoin holdings. Okay. What makes it unique? Who cares? All right. Let's get back over here. Boom. Biggest gainers. We got Virtual. Damn. Virtual's pumped almost 50%. Pepe pumped 31%. Athena up 25, Uniswap up 25, Story IP up 26. Man, look at these double digits. Even Trump coin even pumped 20%. A lot of ETH, a lot of stuff pegged to ETH. This is all ETH right here. Damn, all of that's ETH. Then we come down to Fart coin up 20. But look at all them double digits. Look, that's just page after page of double digits. We're halfway down before we hit something that's not a double digit, and that's a staked soul. So I bet we have stable coins as the biggest losers. And yes, we do. Athena USD, DAI, another USD, TO. So pretty much, if you own anything but stables, you made money today. Unless you own that random ish coin that rugged. So but let's take a look at the stock market today. It didn't really pump, but it did
change the screen.
Change the screen. So it didn't really pump, but it did. I mean, it was green and the VIX is coming down. So that's a positive. You know, I guess these are big numbers for the stock market. Up 254 points on the Dow, 32 on the S&P. 189 on NASDAQ, and then the Russell K 36. Actually, the Russell K pumped the hardest, up 1.85%. Let's take a look at pre-market. Pre-market is flat. Nothing except for oil is up, really. Everything else is flat. Even Dow being down is only down 0.06. So take a look at Asia. We got the Australian index up 0.37. Japan up 1.37. Hong Kong's up 0.5 point, and Shanghai is flat. It was up earlier when I took a look at it, but and what'd you say you're talking about? Let's look at Coinglass. Let's look at liquidations real quick. Come on, click on it. Why is it there? Still there? 24-hour. Whoo! Wow, look at that. 24-hour. Almost $1 billion in liquidations, but 819 million in shorts got wrecked.
That was what it was. Yeah.
Wow. 400 million of it was Bitcoin, 300 million of it was Ethereum, and then an assortment of others. So, yeah, big short squeeze to the upside. And that's probably what helped propel us so quick, because it's like I was watching a little bit. I was super busy at work, but I was checking in on the market a little bit this morning. It was like, I think I woke up, it was like 101, maybe 102, something like that. But then it just like boom, 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 just kept going. And then SWE hit what, like 380. I was like, okay, maybe we'll get a little retrace here now. Nope. 390. Oh man, I better take some profits. Sold a little bit. 407. I was like, damn. But when we get into the charts, things do have to come back down, people. We've seen all that. We'll talk about it when we get into charts.
All right. So let's get a little word from our sponsors. Make sure that you like, repost, and share this. I can hear myself from your side. Just so you know.
You can hear yourself through my side?
Yeah, I could. Echoes.
Do you have your microphone? Where's your microphone?
It's here. We're good.
I don't got you turned up that loud. All right.
I mean,
go ahead.
But anyways, thank you guys for joining us. We come to you live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time, bringing you the daily news nightly. This is Crypto Nightly. Do us a favor, hit the like, hit the repost, the retweet. Follow us on YouTube if you're on Twitter. Hit us a like over there. And yeah, we come to you nightly. So let's get a word from our sponsors and check out what's going on in the news today. Join us at Rare Evo, the top blockchain conference, August 6th through 10th, 2025, at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. The top blockchain projects like Algorand, Midnight, HBAR, ICP, Thorchain, and Igon, and many more are going to be there. This is definitely a must for blockchain enthusiasts and fans. Use discount code CryptoNightly to save on your tickets and to support the channel. Don't miss it. We can't wait to see you there. It's going to be a blast. Alrighty, so I was there we go. Alrighty, so I was I was conflicted in what I wanted to show, but I thought that this was a good place to start. The Genius Act, the stablecoin bill, fails to pass the Senate vote, and it was 48 yays to 49 nays. I feel like usually whenever it's like this, it's because like they all kind of agreed that it would look really bad for all of them if they all voted against it. So they kind of decide to have this.
Well, it's probably on party lines, I bet you.
Yeah.
I bet you I bet you it was 48 Republicans to 49 Democrats with 3 abstaining.
Perhaps. But, I think it's interesting. This one didn't pass. Again, I said that I felt like this was kind of a Trojan horse bill, but the fact that they voted it down, it means that they didn't get enough of the stuff that they wanted. So what did they want? Probably nothing good for us. I'll tell you that. So I thought that was interesting. And shout out to Ripple. I know Third Patriot is like dancing somewhere, but SEC reaches settlement agreement with Ripple and the key executives. So they were originally getting charged, I think it was over $1 billion. that they had to pay, or a couple. It was a couple hundred
No,
million
no,
or
no,
something.
no.
Billion
No,
was
it was
Binance. 100 million.
125 million, I think.
So they got a massive discount. They're only paying 50 million.
Yeah.
So for them,
You
that's
know, this
pennies.
is weird because we covered this. Remember?
Yep.
Obviously, it wasn't official, but remember we covered this, I think, at the middle of last month about how they dropped the case and everything like that, and that Ripple was only going to pay 50 million and everything.
Yeah.
So
it was
apparently
originally
that
100.
wasn't finalized, apparently. And now
Yeah, I'm
it
sure
is,
they
right?
had to do all the like bureaucratic stuff.
Right.
It was decided, you know. But yeah, so it was 125 million, but now they're only paying 50 million. So that's great. They're all partying on their yachts that they already had. But you know, interesting. We love that. Great for Ripple. Arthur Hayes says Bitcoin bottomed on April 9th and is now on track to reach 1 million by 2028, which is remarkably less remarkable now when you think about that, because 2028, like perhaps that's like the second cycle,
Yeah, that's the next cycle. That's the next halving.
you know? And I mean, like, that's only a 2x if we hit 500K this time,
Well,
right?
we ain't hitting 500K, but
Well, I'm saying that's if we hit the 500K. Let me see. I had another, I had another one, but I guess I didn't bookmark it. So what it was, remember when we had that list of price predictions from different like investing
yeah.
funds? So one of them had predicted 120K. They came out and
Oh, that
put
was,
a public statement. What?
yeah, you tagged me in it. That was Standard Charter.
Okay, Standard Charter put out a statement that they apologize to their customers and to the people because they believe their 120 estimate was far too low.
Yeah. They
So
may
we
have been
love
a
that.
little short-sighted.
Yeah. They were just being haters, is what they were saying. Sorry.
But that could just be FOMO hitting the intern, and they're like, "Oh, I better say something."
Peanut
You
butter.
know, one
Perhaps.
little pump. Just because we had a nice little pump does not mean it's the second leg of the bull run.
100%. All right. So then this was interesting. So remember with Libra, not Libra that happened in Argentina, the coin for
Right.
Javier Milei. There was a meme coin that rugged a bunch of people over $100 million. Meta originally was going to have their own stablecoin from the people on their team, and it was going to be called Libra. But they disbanded that when the SEC was going against a bunch of people. So a lot of the people that were on that team ended up making some really interesting projects in crypto. They had a lot of really good reputation. But so Meta is now exploring stablecoin integrations for their payouts on their platform, which is interesting because they gave all this away because the administration was unfavorable towards it. Now they're back. So I think this is bullish. Meta is worth quite a bit of money. I can't remember exactly how much because I was distracted by the news of Bitcoin exceeding the value of Apple.
Amazon.
Oh, Amazon. Like I said, Amazon. See what I do? I would be lost. Let's see. The market cap of Meta is 1.5 trillion, but not quite at the 2
The
trillion.
market cap of Meta is 1.5 trillion.
Or
Is
that
it?
might be how much.
Hold
Let's
on.
see.
I'll find it right here.
Market cap. Oh, okay. Sorry, 1,503 billion.
1,500. That's 1.5 trillion.
Okay, well there you go.
1,000 billion is a trillion, bro.
Well, it's like after you get to so many numbers, like it's just fake. It doesn't mean anything to me. It has absolutely no value difference. I'd say after you get past 1 million, well, I'll say after you get past 100 million, then it's all just like zeros at the end of some numbers. But so this was cool. we're excited about that. And we didn't see Dogecoin up there, but this article says that Dogecoin leads meme coin surge as Pepe, Fartcoin, and Trump Solana token jump. And so I was going to cover this, but obviously we already covered the news. Wow. And Mu Deng is up 125% on the day. The Solana meme coin, which is crazy.
Mu
Because
Deng.
it's a pretty cute.
That's the little hippo, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty cute hippo. And then so like it said that Dogecoin led the rally, but it only jumped by 14%. And we know that Trump pumped 20% even. So interesting choice in the article. Logan Hitchcock, whatever, bro.
Yeah,
He
that
does
doesn't make sense. Dogecoin leads meme coin surge as Pepe, Fartcoin, and Trump Solana token jump. Pepe, we just looked at it. Pepe's up like 40% or 30% or something like that.
Yep. Oh, so this article I really love because we were talking about Durabit and how they were looking to get acquired and they were getting valued at $5 billion. That was what they were looking to get acquired for. But look, Coinbase's Durabit buy shows growing derivatives market. So obviously the deal reflects competition among crypto exchanges to dominate the burgeoning derivatives market. So Coinbase buying Durabit was a massive move, but it looks like they agreed to acquire the crypto derivatives platform for $2.9 billion. So instead of the $5 they were looking for, I would be willing to bet that because I've been reading a whole lot about venture deals. I'm sure that even though on paper they only got $2.9 billion, I would be willing to bet that the leadership of Durabit got quite a few Coinbase shares. And I'm sure that their employees also got quite a few Coinbase shares. And so even if it was $2.9 billion, if they were looking for $5 billion, in a lot of situations, stocks are better. Especially Coinbase shares, right when we're about to go into the market. Think about how hard it pumped into this news, probably.
Right.
So this is dope. We like this. Durabit and Coinbase. Coinbase, I think that they do a good job. A lot of people are typically kind of like anti-centralized exchange. They'll be like, oh, they're bad actors, this, that, and the other. But I do want to say they have spent a lot of money lobbying for the industry, and they have created a lot of easy-to-use tools to onboard people into crypto, and they've educated people. So I think no matter how bad that you could say that they are, I think that it is overall positive that they are creating a tool that anybody can use to bring people into our ecosystem. And Machinsky sentenced to 12 years for crypto fraud. This guy, he was telling people to just, deposit more money as he was taking money out and spending it.
Yep.
What a jerk, This guy's a jerk, but Richard Hart put out a really moving tweet about how he called this. He also called the Bitcoin top and the bottom. And, on the day, he says.
Well, Peter Schiff supposedly called it too. He put out a tweet that he knew he was a fraud when he first debated him on Keto or Kitco or some channel or something like that.
Yeah. But anyways,
everybody's an expert after the fact.
Yeah. He's definitely a bad actor. And, Richard Hart told us so. So if you lost money, it was your fault because you didn't listen to Richard Hart. And,
I can't believe he only got 12 years.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know. What is 12 years worth to you? Like $1 billion? 100 million?
Well, I don't know. I did almost 12 years and I didn't get that much money.
Right? You're like, wouldn't that be nice?
The bar I set is a little lower than that.
There we go. There we go. And then, so we already talked about this. Arizona governor signs law for state to keep unclaimed crypto. This is what they're going to be using also to pad and buy part of their Bitcoin reserve. So this is cool. It's going to force the
that's
government.
conflicting. That conflicts the statement that we seen yesterday. So that's how I read it. When I first read it, I read that, they're going to claim ownership of digital assets. Well, first of all, how can they claim ownership unless they got like a bunch of hardware wallets and they actually have the password to get into the hardware wallets? That's the only way. And then that also means that the owner of the hardware wallet that they claimed has the seed phrase, or that's weird. And
I'm
then
sure
we
when they were
seen the
taking
other
them
thing
in,
saying that they were going to sell unclaimed items and buy Bitcoin. So
no, I'm sure that when they got people in some pretty big busts, they're like, hey, we'll be easier on you if you just give us access to this. And they probably instantly moved the crypto. And they were like, ha, sucker, enjoy jail for like X amount of time. And then by that time, we'll be rich and you'll still be poor. And then they move on to the next one. I'm sure that that's how the government there works.
yeah, I can see that.
You're like, yeah. That was my experience.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I got a truck back. Hey, my buddy got arrested in my truck. And it was, what was it? I think it was almost 9 years later. We got a call saying, hey, if you want your truck, you need to come get it or we're going to sell it at auction. That red truck, you see, I showed you that picture. Yeah. That red truck sat in police impound for 9 years, bro.
Did you get it?
Yeah, you seen the picture that's the vehicle I had when I got out. And then it had just sat too long. All the rubber was dry rotted. So that's when I got rid of it and bought a new car.
Yeah.
But it was good to have a vehicle when you first get out,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But so the other articles that I have are the obvious ones. Binance founder asks Trump for pardon for the money laundering conviction, which I said, that's weird. Because okay, cool. But I just don't get it. And then the other one was about Stripe again and their rollout over all the countries. So that's what we got there, man. That's what we got there.
Is that it? That's it for the news?
Yeah.
Feels like
there was a bunch of Cardano drama. But
there's always Cardano drama.
I will say one of the things that I thought was kind of the most, I don't even know if I want to touch on it, to be honest. I'll skip that. But I don't know if you saw the Omen stuff.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Drama going on with Omens. Do I need to sell my Omens?
I don't know if that's necessarily the thing, but it was just I think that the artist who I'm hoping to speak to sometime soon, I think he's doing his own things. And I feel like there might have been some kind of hurt feelings there. I don't know what the actual situation is, but it's not anything that has to do with the project. It's just kind of
internal strife.
Well, I think that, I think that
somebody feels that somebody should be doing something and a different person feels that they should be able to do their own thing.
I think that, they're just, it's time that they see other people. And so I think that that's what it is. And there's always hurt feelings in that. I remember, a little while
You remember
ago,
your first open relationship? Is that what you're going to say?
What?
You remember your first open relationship?
No, I never really. Yeah, no. I was just going to say, I remember a time when I had a certain feeling about things and the other person had different feelings about things and their feelings were hurt. And I just kept doing what I was doing, which was this show.
Oh.
Anyways.
I know exactly what you're talking about now. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Let's go ahead.
All right. Changing the subject. So speaking of Cardano drama, this ain't drama, but I did see a good tweet from Gnojek, Gnojek.
Yep.
You see him, he's always on Twitter.
Yeah,
He says Cardano doesn't have enough stable coin liquidity for a real whale to offload. Let that sink in. And I thought about that and I was like, you know what? That is true. If some whale wanted to unload his ADA within the Cardano ecosystem, even if they split it, say they had, I don't know, 50 million Cardano or something like that, and they want to offload but stay within the ecosystem, USDM, USDA, IUSD, or whatever, all these stable coins, there's no way there's enough liquidity. We'd see a $5 USDM again.
I was gonna say, I think USDA even only has like $6 million of liquidity, and like that's supposed to be a lot. Yeah.
Right. So we would see, not to mention, and it's not even just that they only have 6 million in liquidity. If somebody was to inject $1 million, if they were to do just $1 million swap, that token would shoot to $10, bro. There's no way. So good. It's something to think about. We really need a real stable coin in Cardano.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But all right, let's hit the market real quick and see what's going on.
So I was listening
up real quick. Well, go ahead.
I was listening to your thoughts as I played that. You're like, dang it, we need another like reel for that. And then I was also thinking, like, what if I played this one?
Yes, that is definitely a classic. And we will get a new one. I'm just like super busy right now. I was talking with John earlier. This weekend is the final pack. Then next weekend is the move, and I got to get down there. And I'm trying to wrap up a bunch of stuff at work to make sure when I leave the area that the ship is sailing smooth. And, I don't hear like, oh, well, as soon as you left, X, Y, and Z happened. Like, no, we're not going to play that game. So I need to make sure everything's wrapped up. But anyways, so we will get a different transition eventually. So I brought this up when John was talking about Meta or about Coinbase getting Durbit, right? And we did pump, or Coin did pump 4.3% today. And that's quite a bit for the market. Back here, so 4.5, 1.2. The reason these candles, so I have it on Heikinashi, that's why the candles don't look as impressive. So like back in April, I bet this is like around the time when they were talking about acquiring Durbit. Does that sound about right? The beginning of April?
Yeah.
Is that about right when we first started talking about it? And you can see that massive candle. That was probably the initial announcement right there. But either way, we're not here to talk about Coinbase stock. We're here to look at Bitcoin. So let's go out to the weekly. If the weekly can hold, we have put in, we're right level. So what is this right here? What's this? Closed at 102,563. We are currently at 102. No. What are we currently at? We're currently at 102,593. So we are currently putting in a higher high if the Bitcoin price can hold. We've broken this downtrend right here on the weekly, And the Stokes are still pointed to the upside. RSI is still pointed to the upside. The 21 hasn't even begun to turn. So I imagine that's going to turn dramatically. You got to remember, this is a high time frame. So this could take, the 21 may be a magnet. But if you look at this, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. This took like 30 weeks for it to come back and touch the 21. That's a long time. So it could still pump. We almost got to the SR level right here at 104,893, which is the top of these over here. So we almost made it there. We got a little retracement, but this is definitely bullish. Breaking the downtrend, putting in a higher high. We still got a couple of days, almost 3 days before the weekly close. So if we can maintain this Friday, Saturday, and then close Sunday, in my book, that's going to be a higher high. And we might be able to do it unless Trump, he did good today. He did good. Trump did good. Orange Man did good today. He came out, announced a trade deal, market pumped. So let's not, in the words of Raoul Paul, don't F this up. Let's not come out tomorrow and say the China trade deal is off the table or anything like that. Let's not say anything crazy. Keep your mouth shut for 36 hours. So looking at the daily though, coming to the daily, we got the nice pump. The Stokes are still pointing to the upside. The RSI is overbought and it has pointed back down a little bit. We are gapped on the 21. So, we're going to come back. We're going to touch the 21. Whether we pump up and then come back down to it, whether we go sideways or whether we just give it back over the next day, we do have to come back to the 21. So it is not time to long the top, but it is a beautiful sensation, to see $104,000 Bitcoin for the first time since February. So it's very nice. What is it? Yeah, right here, right? Oh no, January. So we haven't seen the price this high since January 31st. So the beginning of February. So yeah. So we have put in the highest high since February. Let's go down to so this is what's making me think also that we're going to come back down just a little bit. And you guys, when I say we're going to come back down, I don't mean the price is going back down to 96,000. I don't mean the price is going down to 88,000. I mean, we pumped too hard, too fast. It just has to cool off a little bit. It's going to come back down a little bit. We got to come back down, touch the 21. It could happen about here. So we may come back down to 101. It's not that big a deal. But the Stokes are rolled over. RSI super oversold or overbought on the 2 hour. Looks like it's getting ready to touch the 14 moving average. So if we break the 14 moving average on the RSI and the Stokes continue to come back down, that means the price is going to be coming back down and looking for the 21 right here. So still good. Like I'll say it again, like I said yesterday, if you're in some tokens that you bought because we were in the middle of the bull run and everything was pumping now, and then we got that huge sell-off and retrace and kind of like a little mini bear market. If you are in profit now, take profits. Summer is still coming, so, and I don't mean like summer as in the opposite of crypto winter. I mean like the summertime when the market usually dips is what I mean. So coming over to SWE on the 2 hour, super overbought RSI and Stokes. We did not hit my little speculative bubble here. We actually shot right through it. Well, hey, look, the 21 hit my bubble, just not the price action. So we'll get rid of this. I did not expect us to pump that hard. Get rid of all this. Oops, not that. And one more. But as you can see, we are getting a little bit of retracement. We blew right through 378 through the SR level right here. Boom. We hit it once, closed the candle, next candle, off to the races. Couldn't quite make it to the next SR level up there at 417. And we are kind of like rounding a little bit right here. Got a little hammer candle, which I actually don't know what a hammer candle means when it's on the top. It's not like it. So if it was like a doji, it means a reversal. But I don't know if a hammer candle means a sign of continuance or what. If it was on the bottom, I would tell you it's a reversal. I don't know what it means up there. Maybe nothing. Maybe it's just.
I don't know, man. I was gonna say maybe you should have left your drawings. Maybe we're gonna come back to that circle.
Well, but the whole point was that circle by this time, by showtime today. You know what I mean? No, we're definitely coming back. I took some profit in SWE, damn it. So we're definitely coming back down a little bit. So I could buy in lower. I could redeploy in lower. But no, we definitely got to come back down though, because I mean your 21's down here at 364. Price action's at 398. What's that? That's about 10%. So I would expect us to retest 378, really. Expect us to come back, maybe retest. By that time, the SR or the 21 is up to there, and then we get a bounce. And when we look at the daily, though, the daily, we could be seeing a continuation on the daily, except for the RSI. But the RSI was really overbought, came down, turned, and as it turned, the Stokes decided to turn. So the Stokes are still showing more to the upside. Plus, the daily is getting ready to have that beautiful cross of the 21 across the 200. You know, we crossed the 200, boom, rolled over, came back down. Close enough for a retest on the 21, and then it took off. Well, the 21 is getting ready to cross the 200. So to me, that's just going to be a continuation of the upward movement on the intermediate macro. So while in the short term, say on the 2 hour, we do have a little bit of pullback, I don't think it's over. I don't think the run is over. Until Bitcoin says it's over, it's not over. And especially if Bitcoin quits pumping and decides to go sideways, maybe play the range between 103 and 104 or something like that, then altcoins are going to start pumping. That's how it works. Look, coming down to Cardano, I said if we get through this 72-cent SR level, we were going to take off. And, well, we sure as heck did. Boom, we blew right through 74. Got all the way up to the 77, and now we're fighting with the 77 cent. But on the 2 hour, same as the rest of the coins, we're very overbought on the Stokes, the RSI, everything is overbought. You know, so I expect a little bit of resistance. Can't go up and to the right forever. We have a major gap from the 21 to price action, even though the 21 did just cross the 200. I still think we're going to come back down, maybe down to 74, maybe not so much. But unless Asia wakes up and then Bitcoin starts its next leg up tonight, you know, when it's in full FOMO mode, some of the TA just goes out the window. You know, that's just, you know, some of it just doesn't act normal. Let's look at the daily. So daily on Cardano, looks like if we can get above the 77 right here. So we got a big gap on the daily too in the 21, but Stokes are still pointed to the upside. RSI is not really overbought. We haven't even hit the 80 line yet. So there's still, you know, we flattened out, but we're not coming back down and we're not overbought on the daily. So a lot of the dailies are looking good. Like when we look at Bitcoin, the daily on Bitcoin looks decent. You know, the daily on SWE looks good. The daily on Cardano looks good. They all look good to keep going up, but we're going to have some pullbacks on the smaller time frames. And if we can get above the 200, on the daily for Cardano. I think that's going to just propel us even further. We could definitely blow through the 81 cent, 87, 99. If we can get above that and we just get a nice little slingshot to the upside. XRP, see XRP, same situation on the daily. Stokes to the upside. RSI not super overbought. So everything is really looking decent. And when I was going through them earlier, I don't see any bearish divs or anything because all the RSIs are higher and the price action's higher. You know, same with ADA, you know, higher on the RSI, higher on the price action. SWI. Now, SWI, let's see here. No, I don't think so. I mean, if we could go from this point. What's that from here? So SWI might have a little bit of a bearish div on the daily. You see, we got a slight downward action. And then when we pull from the same point is right here. And we definitely got upward action. So there might be a little bit of a bearish div right there on SWI. And that could cause it to come back, maybe touch the 21, play out real quick and take off. Ondo, I think Ondo's good to go. Same thing, Stokes to the upside, RSI to the upside. Would really like to see it get past this level, get above 103 and 108 right here. When we bring all this data onto the screen, right? Boom. You can see right here, 125 is a major SR level, but this 103 right here is right in the bottom of this valley. So if we can get above, this 103 and start working our way up this hill, the next stop is going to be 125. So I would definitely like to see that. If SWI breaks $1, definitely if Ondo breaks $1, has major potential to make it up to 125. So that's what I am looking at. I haven't bought anything. I don't plan on buying anything until we get a retrace. I actually sold some stuff today. So that is where I'm at.
Well, that's what we got.
Send it to 125 by the end of the.
Oh my goodness. Accident with my thumb. Send it to 125 by the end of the month. Let's get it.
It's possible. I don't think it's going to happen though. I don't think we're going to see a
massive short.
I don't want to say I don't think, but I don't think it's probable. I mean, it is probable. It is possible,
but not probable.
But I don't know. I'm not looking for a new all-time high. I think we get rejected before we hit an all-time high.
I think we go down before we go up.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we may like double top because we almost broke the 104.7 SR level today. If we break that, we may shoot up to that 109. But there's going to be a lot of people when everybody's in profit, when everybody who's ever bought Bitcoin is in profit, usually when it comes back down, you know?
Yep.
So.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. That's all she wrote for tonight. We'll see you guys tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific time. And, if you come by Forest Drive Starbucks to get coffee, I'll be there with a smile to hand you coffee, 5:30 in the morning.
All right. I'll be there.
All right. Peace, everybody. See you guys. Join us at Rare Evo, the top blockchain conference, August 6th through 10th, 2025 at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. The top blockchain projects like Algorand, Midnight, HBAR, ICP, Thorchain, and Igon, and many more are going to be there. This is definitely a must for blockchain enthusiasts and fans. Use discount code CryptoNightly to save on your tickets and to support the channel. Don't miss it. We can't wait to see you there. It's going to be a blast.